So today I'm going to show you how to blend your POSCA pens with water. So I've just got a very simple design that I've sketched out, and I'm just going to do a very simple floral design, and I'm going to use 1M pens. So I'm going to do for the rose, I'm just going to put some very basic marks down. Now I'm going to use my brush to you can see how you can create a real depth of colour with it. And what I can do, you see that it's already looking a bit watercolour, a bit dreamy. And I can add a bit more, and I can blend that in, see where it works with the water. I can also just use my brush where I've picked up paint to make lighter things. So again, use my pen a bit more here just to create a little bit more variation in tone. And then I get my water. I can just a bit of that. So there, my rose is done. So now I'm going to blend a light and dark blue to create the base of my feather design. So I'm just going to use dark blue POSCA here and a light blue POSCA. Just put those together, and then I'm going to use the water to just drag that down as a base. You can see it creates a lovely colour. If I use more water, I can make that lighter. So that's really nice. So I've got the dark here, it just goes lighter. And I'll just use this. I'll use just the water for this lighter feather behind. I'm not worried if it bleeds, because I'm going to let that dry before I do anything to the feathers. See how that's got a little bit of a line there? So what I'm going to do is just soften that by blending. There we go. So we've got quite a little dreamy effect going on already. So now we're going to do the leaves. I've got a light green and a dark green, so I'm going to do some light green leaves here, and all I'm going to do is just do the outline with my POSCA. You see how it's touched that water there, it's quite nice. I quite like that because I want a bit of a painterly finish for this, and all I'm going to do is then just drag that. So I've got the definition, I've also got the lightness. And then what I can do so I can add to that. So you see how it just does the work for me. I can just put that POSCA over it with the water and it just blends nicely and it's nice and soft. I'll use my pen to pick up any sort of stray bits of dust or hair. I can just add a little bit more water if I want. And again, I can use my water to do the other green leaves, the other light green leaves, and just create a bit of a smudge. So I let the water and the pen do the work for me. I can have a bit more green here. Now I have my dark green. For the rose leaves, and I'm just going to colour in half there. And while it's still wet, I'm being quite rough, as you can see. I'm just going to use my wet brush to create these leaves, and then I can do little lighter leaves, and so these could be quite dark and these could be quite light, so you've got a bit of variation. I've just seen that I've left a little green leaf off there, so I'll just a little light green leaf off there, so I'll just correct that. And that's a good thing, I can come in and finish that off. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that to dry. I'm going to just add some little, play about a bit, be a bit playful. And I'm going to let that dry, and then once that's dry I can overlay on it. So what I can start doing now, now that it's dry, I can start working over detail. So I can use my darker colours to add the vein here, and I can give it some definition. So I can just do some little feathery detail here. Oh, look, I've smudged that there, and I can just bring that in. So now I can start being a bit wilder. You see how some of it's still wet a bit? I don't mind that, because I can kind of just have a bit more, again, of a bit more of an artistic effect, but I can still use my definition with my lines. So I've got this little feather stem here. I can start being a bit more floaty, and I can work over my feather design. And if I don't like it, I can always just soften it up with my water. So I don't, even when I've overlaid, I can still correct and add more softness. So I'll just add a bit more definition here. I can also add some highlights. I'm going to use a very nice ivory on this, just to make sure that That gives it a bit more of a vintage look, which I really like. So let's add some little highlights here. I'll use that, my lovely red wine colour. So you can see how you can just work over and keep working over until you're happy. So I've got my darker blue, darker green. I can add a lighter green over darker colours as well. And there you go. Very easy way to just use colour and use water with your POSCA pens, so you can use them like watercolours.